If you can't pay your taxes, just file an extension, right? Wrong. And in this video, I'll tell you why. Extensions can be a huge relief, but they're not always what they seem. I'll break down the essentials, including the business versus individual deadlines, what extension really means when it comes to filing versus paying, and some updates for those of you affected by recent natural disasters. Hey, my name is Mark Toon. I'm a CPA and former reseller who specializes in helping resellers and online businesses and content creators with taxes and with growing their businesses profitably. First, let's clarify the different deadlines for individuals and businesses because this often confuses people. Individual tax returns are due by April 15th. Now, this includes if your business is a sole proprietor or single member LLC, and that includes most resellers and online businesses. By filing an extension, you're giving yourself an extra 6 months or until October 15th to file. However, remember, filing extension doesn't give you more time to pay, and we'll talk about that in a minute. For businesses like S corporations and partnerships, the deadline is 1 month earlier, which is on March 15th. If you file an extension, you get until September 15th to submit your tax return. Now, this is for the separate business tax returns that these businesses need to file, and then the owners will still also need to file their individual returns by April 15th. For those of you running C corporations, which will be the minority, the deadline is also April 15th, and an extension would push it to October 15th. So if you're a sole proprietor filing a Schedule C, or if you've structured your business as an S Corp, partnership, or C Corp, it's critical to know your deadlines and file that extension before they hit. All right, so let's clear up one of the biggest misconceptions about extensions. Filing an extension does not give you more time to pay your taxes. Let's break it down. When you file for an extension, you're essentially asking the IRS for more time to get all your paperwork together. They'll give you an extra 6 months to file that paperwork, but they still expect any taxes owed to be paid by the original due date. This means that if you owe taxes, you need to make the payment by the original deadline. Even if you don't have the exact amount, it's a good idea to make an estimated payment. Otherwise, you could face interest and late payment penalties on any amount not paid by the deadline. Okay, so if you can't extend the payment, you may now be asking, how am I supposed to know what I owe if I haven't even done the paperwork yet? And you're not alone. No one is saying that the system we have isn't ridiculous, but we still have to learn to navigate it. A lot of business owners are still calculating their income and deductions come tax time, so here's what you can do. You can estimate based on last year's taxes. If your income and expenses haven't changed too much, you can use last year's numbers as a baseline. Estimate based on those and adjust slightly for any major changes that you know about. This can give you a ballpark figure to pay by the deadline. You can make a conservative payment. If you're unsure, it's usually better to pay a little more than you think you might owe, and that way you'll avoid late penalties, and if you end up overpaying, the extra can either be refunded or applied toward next year's taxes. To file an extension, individuals can use Form 4868 and businesses use Form 7004. These forms are quick to fill out and can be mailed in or often submitted online as well. If you've been impacted by a recent natural disaster, such as a hurricane or wildfire, there may be additional relief options. The IRS often grants extra time for those affected. They're pretty good about giving more time to file your taxes, and every once in a while, they'll even give you more time to pay. This relief isn't limited to hurricanes. If you're in a region affected by fires, floods, or other natural disasters that received federal emergency declarations, you may also qualify. The IRS website has a disaster relief page that keeps an updated list of areas and deadlines for those affected. If you qualify, the IRS generally identifies affected taxpayers by their addresses on record, so you might not need to apply for an extension at all. It could be automatic. However, if you're outside the affected area but still impacted, you can call the IRS to request the same relief. Sometimes it's smart to file an extension even if you think you're ready to file by the deadline. Filing an extension gives you an extra 6 months to double check everything. This is especially helpful if you're waiting on any last-minute income statements, deductions, or other documents. It can help you avoid rushing through your tax return, which otherwise could lead to mistakes, missed deductions, or even an IRS notice later. By taking a little bit more time, you're more likely to catch any errors and file an accurate return. If there's any chance you won't get everything done in time, it's better to file an extension than risk a late filing penalty, which is 5% of the unpaid taxes per month. The extension will prevent that penalty, giving you breathing room to do things right. So here's a quick recap on filing an extension. Make sure you send in the right form. Individuals and sole proprietors send in Form 4868. Partnerships, S Corps, and C Corps use Form 7004. They can be mailed in or usually submitted online. The IRS has made improvements to their free file program, so it should be less of a nightmare than it has been in the past, if that gives you any extra comfort. Make an estimated payment. If you think you owe, make that estimated payment when you file your extension. This helps you avoid any interest or late payment penalties. So there you go. Tax extensions can be a great tool if you need more time to get your documents in order, but they're not a free pass to delay payment paying what you owe. And remember, if you're in an area affected by hurricanes or other disasters, you may already qualify for an automatic extension. If you have any questions, post them below or come post them in my free Facebook group, Accounting for Online Sellers. Subscribe and check out the links below for more resources to help you optimize your tax situation and overcome the anxiety so you can focus on building your business profitably.